You're listening to the Incomparables Total Party Kill podcast, in which a group of friends play Dungeons & Dragons on the internet for your amusement. This is episode number 475, recorded October 2022, posted November 2024. CSI Waterdeep.
Welcome back to Total Party Kill. It's me, Tony Sindelar, a Dungeon Master. I use he, him pronouns, and today we are continuing Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor, one of the Candlekeep Mysteries adventures. If you haven't listened to the earlier one, that's not how podcasts are supposed to work. You should go check that out, especially because this is a bit of a murder mystery, a little bit more plot than other D&D adventures. Let us meet our players. They will remind us who their characters are, and then we will continue our investigations. First up, it's Kathy Campbell. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Tony. I am playing Hermione Whipstriker, and if you missed the first episode and are just listening to this one, don't do that. But if you are, I am still level 7. Just making it.
Next up, it's James Thompson. Hi, James.
Hi. I am playing Nasa Nightweaver, she, her, a high elf rogue who can still faintly smell burning orphans in these docks.
Oh, God. Oh no, it was these docks too, wasn't it?
It was these docks, though.
Yeah. These docks.
These docks. Whatever horrible brain disease you all have is infectious and I don't like it. Also joining us, it's Tiff Arment. Welcome back, Tiff.
Hi, I'm playing Poorly Quartz, the rock gnome druid, who is a level 7. Just saying.
This is all his fault because he has failed to stop me repeatedly. It's Jason Snell.
Hi there, Jason. Tony. I am playing Nis. She's a sorcerer. She's the dean of the Swamp School of Sorcery and knows lots of spells because she's also level 7.
And last, certainly not least, Erica Ensign. Erica, tell me, are you also level 7?
Well, I'm not, but for Tata, yes. But for Tata is, yes, she is a Goliath, a barbarian, who she just wants to know, have you seen her brother? That's all.
So what happened previously? Well, you can listen to the whole episodes, but if you want to hear my very short version, somebody opened a book. As we all know, that is a bad idea and nothing good has ever happened from that. Specifically a book that was the diary of a murdered servant, the titular Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor, a servant that was murdered along with several others and has charged the adventurers with solving her murder and hopefully allowing her to move on into wherever's next for ghosts. Our adventurers have done a variety of research in the Candlekeep about the Yellowcrest family, and the incident of the murder itself. I guess they have stolen a book from a library that the ghost of Sarah is still tethered to, and they have made their way up the coast by boat to city of Waterdeep, the jewel of the Sword Coast, the city of splendors, just a real big old city. It is a bustling metropolis. I some of you perhaps have been here before, other of you not, and you may be somewhat overwhelmed by the huge city ahead of you. I have had you arrive in the docks ward on the southern side of Waterdeep, next to Deepwater Harbor. And I think from here you will continue your investigation. I think you have a variety of things you might want to learn or follow up on from the information. This is a bit of a cold case since Sarah's murder was 5 years ago, and perhaps that her diary has just been sitting on a shelf in Candlekeep for many years until the right person stumbled across it.
I think you might say we really opened the book on this one.
I would not say that.
Come on, it's time. We're here. It's CSI Waterdeep. Let's do it.
Love it. All right, can we say that I took note of the address for Faerl the elf as well, since I looked at their tax records?
Yes, there was strangely not an address for Faerl the elf, or they were listed as they don't maintain a residence in
I mean,
in Waterdeep.
Okay.
So there were, a lot of NPCs and character names introduced last session. So I'll always be happy to help you try and remember things. Faerl the elf was a business associate of the Yellowcrest family. Specifically.
Say his full name, Tony.
Faerl the elf.
what was his first name?
What's his first name?
William.
There you go.
Thank you.
William Faerl.
All right.
We should go to the North Ward because that's where the house was.
Yeah, I mean, like the Faerl the elf, like he was a business partner and they were doing shoemaking, and I find shoemaking elves kind of an offensive stereotype here. But I think we should, we should check out the North Ward first.
Yeah.
All right.
We're looking specifically for Delzorin Street.
All right. So you head. I imagine you again. You're level 7. You've been on several adventures. You've stolen a lot of money from a lot of people, recovered precious jewels from lots of places. Waterdeep is the kind of city where it would be not unusual to travel by carriage across city because it would be quite a trek from one end of the city or not. So I imagine you'll flag down a carriage and
An
use
extra
that.
large carriage.
Yeah.
An extra large carriage or 2 carriages. I don't know.
How much was the boat? Do I need to remove money from my inventory?
Don't worry about it.
We're
I'll
level
put it on your
7.
tab.
I like to
Yeah,
keep
you're
my
like-
books straight because,
Well, why do you have 2 of them though?
don't talk about my cooking books.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the equivalent of pocket money, make your way to the North Ward. Now, the North Ward of Waterdeep is, it is the area where perhaps the kind of your upper middle class would have manor houses and whatnot. It is not the richest part of Waterdeep, but it is one of the nicer parts of Waterdeep. The Sea Ward on the is kind of the oceanfront view part of Waterdeep, which is like the real rich and powerful live there. The Docks Ward is your shantytown on the water. The Trades Ward is kind of your merchant marketplace district. Southern Ward a little bit run down. Castle Ward is kind of your administrative stuff in the middle center of the city. So the North Ward, a lot of I imagine it's kind of the D&D equivalent of brownstones, but kind of nice, fancy upscale houses and, boutique type businesses that are, pretty nice. As your carriage makes its way down the street and deposits you on, I am blanking on the name of the street,
Delzorin
Street. Delzorin Street. You perhaps stand out a little bit. The people kind of coming and going
I
here
always do.
look a little bit more, there's people dressed in fancy dress who are presumably the nobles who live and own property here. But there are lots of people, kind of servants and working class people coming and going who are probably, doing the work to maintain all these property and keep the houses running and things like that. But there is a bustle to this city that is very different than perhaps other cities that you've been to. So you're in the Northern Ward. You have no trouble locating the address that you were given on Delzorin Street. So you find yourself, I guess, if you want to be there, just down, I'll say across the street from what at one time was Yellowcrest Manor.
Well,
I don't know what you will do next.
I walk up and knock the front door.
All right. There is a pause. You hear footsteps approaching. The door is cast open, and a fancy-looking servant looks down at you from kind of the steps above you. Give me a quick perception check, Nyasa, since you knocked on the door.
Okie doke. That is an 18.
He smells strongly of wine.
Don't we all?
The servant, he's garbed in, he's got, like a white shirt and a kind of a fancy black ascot and then like a black vest, and he's got kind of like one of those towel things draped over one of his arms. He's got, like a neatly trimmed mustache, and he's
wearing short shorts.
He is canonically wearing short shorts. This is a fairy we tell together. Looks down at you and says, "Yes, can I help you?"
We are investigators of crime, and we are here to solve a murder.
Are you with the City Watch? You appear to be out of uniform.
We're undercover.
Oh. I do not think we have any murders here at the time. You are several years too late.
We are fresh out of murder.
He speaks with just a slight goblin accent.
That goblin.
Well, we are very aware of the murder that took place here, and we need to have access to the premises.
I do not know if that is something I can allow. He looks kind of nervously over his shoulder and then up and down the street. It feels like your question has made him a little uncomfortable.
Could I try and persuade him?
You absolutely can. Perhaps you should come back later when the Lord and Lady of the house are in.
What?
Remind me, which Lord and Lady live here quite just now?
Oh, why, of course. That would be Lord and Lady Falgarst of the Falgarst family.
That's exactly who I thought it would be. He says, typing into his notes.
You passed my test.
I think actually with them away is the ideal time for us to investigate because we will not get in their way.
Give me a quick persuasion check there, Nyasa.
That would be persuasion is +8. That would be a 24.
Nice.
I am not sure, but he's not really holding the doorway totally in place, and so you step briskly past him, and then the four of you come riding in afterwards.
With me, fellow investigators.
And he seems
such a motley
kind of
crew.
He kind of quickly goes from being kind of taken aback to wanting to be the gracious host, and he goes from in just a split second from being someone you push back to someone holding the door wide open for the other four of you and says, please, the sitting room is on the left.
Thank you. This will be noted in our investigation records that you cooperated so well.
Thank you.
You get a gold star.
So you are in the kind of it's a beautiful sitting room of the Falgarst family, who seems to have purchased this house after the Yellowcrest family. Everything is in kind of it seems like their family colors are kind of a purple and red thing. So there's a lot of kind of crimson and with purple accent marks. It's a little much, but it's it's nice. There's a bunch of couches and fancy chairs in the sitting room that you could sit in, or I don't know if you're going to sneak around the house and loot a bunch of things. The butler says, pardon me, I am so rude. Can I offer you all some beverages?
I think wine would taste very good right now.
He winks at you and looks around and just says, 5 wines, perhaps 6, coming right up. And he disappears.
As soon as he leaves, I lean over to Hermione and say, so you read the entire diary. Where did Sarah live in the house, and where did the murders take place?
Clearly, Sarah lived in the servants' quarters.
Nailed it.
Yep, we'll say that the servants' quarters they're over, this is kind of a large, fancy brick house on a city block, but there is like a stable out back, and the servants' quarters are over the stable. The brutal murders happened in the basement of the main manor house.
Yes.
The
Thank
butler
you.
returns with a tray with 6 wine glasses and 2 bottles of wine on it and starts handing them out.
I like this guy.
I like him too.
So you are
Let's
here
charm him
about
and keep him.
I am thinking it is about the Yellowcrest family.
You are correct. You are a very perceptive butler.
It was quite quite the scene back in the day, or so I am told. The Falgars family got the house at quite a steal.
Did Arnulf know the Yellowcrest family?
I did not know them myself, but the poor souls. I have only been in the service of the Falgars family for the last 3 years, and only arrived in Waterdeep a few years before that.
Does anybody know what became of the patron, the leader of the family, the only survivor?
Yes, Lord Vialis.
Viagra.
Well,
That's him.
no, I am thinking it is Vialis.
Oh,
well,
my bad.
he sold the manor house, obviously, to the Falgars family. I believe he still owns business interests down in the trade ward, but he moved away. I am forgetting the name of the place. Some little village, a good ways away from Waterdeep. Somewhere he could be in the country, they say.
What business does he still retain ownership of?
They are tanneries and shoemakers and leather shops.
I believe I heard he had a business partner, an elf named Faerl. Do you happen to know if that elf is still involved in the business?
I do not know.
Is he on a shelf?
I
No,
am
Jason,
thinking
no.
Someone must be in charge of overseeing his business interests, so perhaps the elf is still here? I do not know.
Where in the business district do you know where the warehouse, workshop, tannery
The
is?
main office of the
He
tannery?
takes out a little kind of note card and jots down the names of three businesses in the trade wards and the cross streets that they're at for you.
Convenient.
So
Mhm.
I'm thinking that we drug his wine.
Whoa.
I don't.
It's getting out of hand.
No. I didn't say poison his wine. I said
It's true.
drug
It's
his
true.
wine.
Something tells me though that he's had enough wine. Doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily need additional drugs in it.
I feel like he's telling us everything he knows.
I know. And then, we just need to make him have a little sleep, and then we can explore.
Or we just give him more wine.
Or we
I
just
think
ask
he
to
would just let us
explore.
explore. Also, I have a closet. He could also help with this.
I'm assuming this is all some kind of formality. You just check that no one else has been murdered here since, and you check your box and put in your form, enjoy a nice beverage. Is there anything else I could do to help you important investigators?
Do you know, are there any portions of the house that have been left untouched since the crime was committed? Or has it all been, remade and dusted?
We don't go down into the basement.
Can we go down into the basement?
But of course.
Did you say that in a French accent?
Oh,
It's
dude.
Goblin.
Sorry.
I am thinking I prefer to stay up here if you wish to explore the basement. It's bad vibes.
As they say.
Understandable.
Very well.
I as we're getting up to go away, I nudge the bottle of wine in a glass towards him
Oh,
and give him a little wink.
much appreciated. He pours a rather large helping for himself. So Arnulf shows you where the stairs down to the basement is. There's kind of a nice little, I guess, I don't know if it counts as a wine cellar if it's not in the basement, but there's a place where there are several casks of wine that he seems very familiar with, and then a narrow set of stairs leading down to a lower level, kind of below the foundation of the manor house. Assuming you want to go down there.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go. Unless
Yep.
somebody else really wants to, I will go first.
Yeah, you go first. I'll go last.
Yeah.
It is, the air feels like it's 20 degrees colder as you step down into the basement.
I mean, that's
The whole area seems cleared out. Does not look like anyone is using this space for any kind of storage or utilities or anything like that. It is bereft of furniture or shelves or anything. It is very dusty. There's, a little bit of light coming in from some tiny windows at the tops of the walls that letting in some light through dusty panes. And it's surprisingly cold.
I mean, that's good
Well,
for
I'm
storing
just
the wine.
striding in without being remotely careful. This is how I play a smart character who's not wise. And just sort of wander over to the middle of the basement. And once Hermione has entered, I'll say, Hermione, perhaps you would like to summon Sarah and see if she has something to tell us now that we are here.
Great
I have to
idea.
get the book out of my pants.
Oh, that's right. It's wrapped up in cuddles. I was thinking Hermione had it, but
Did you need to carry it in your pants once you left Candlekeep several days ago? Yeah.
I mean, I was well balanced. I didn't want to disturb anything.
Got it. All right.
it's extra armor.
I think Hermione, it's up to you. Or do you want to summon Sarah?
Yeah, or Polly.
I get the book out and I hand it to Hermione.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Sarah.
The room can't get any colder, but the air kind of swirls around you. And once again, Sarah appears in front of you. But this time, she is not alone. Several other spectral forms stand around the basement. You see a noble woman, presumably Lord Maria Yellowcrest, 3 children, Sarah, and 3 other servants. One of them is perhaps Squidgy. They all look as if they are in anguish. They all appear to be kind of trying to talk to you. And I think it doesn't take much to recognize that all of them have no tongues.
Looks like we got to find some tongues.
Ghost tongues.
There's a box of ghost
box
tongues
of
somewhere.
tongues.
There's a box just labeled tongues in the basement.
I think we've had him.
All we need to do is return the tongues.
Adventure over. Settled.
Just hand them out.
Yeah, everybody hold still. Just open wide.
Right below the wine cellar is the tongue.
Roll
okay,
staple.
Are they doing anything?
They just seem to kind of be drifting about. It seems Sarah is obviously aware of your presence and kind of, hanging out near you, while the other seem perhaps less, both less kind of corporeal and less kind of aware of their surroundings. Some of them are just kind of like swirling in a circle around you. One of them is pacing back and forth, but they don't have feet, so they're just kind of floating back and forth. So they seem to be in various states of kind of distress.
So what we learned about ghosts earlier is that they're usually connected to some kind of object.
Yes.
What are these
or
ghosts?
Place.
Oh, or place. Okay, so I'm
place.
guessing these ghosts are just connected to the basement.
And I would say the most common place to find ghosts would be tethered to their physical remains, but there's no obvious sign of physical remains here. So
I just thought of a really good question we should have asked an hour ago. Is who checked this book into the library?
You'll never know.
Good job. Back to the library.
Everybody back on the boat.
Send a raven. So we can't interact with the ghosts or the other ghosts. So,
but Sarah has answered questions.
Yeah. So Nyasa turns to Sarah and says, "I know this is traumatic, but is this the place that you died?"
She nods. Yes.
Are there any clues here that could help us? I look around the basement and see if she points.
She kind of shrugs forlornly, looking around the empty basement. It seems likely that this is unusual for a basement to have nothing in it. So it seems like perhaps whether this was cleared out by Lord Vialis himself or the family, the Falgars family who bought it, it seems like there's not a lot to go on here in terms of clues, other than that you have determined the site of the murder.
Can anyone detect magic?
I have a detect traps, find traps spell.
I want to ask Sarah. None of you or the others have tongues. Did that happen when you were alive or after you died? Or when you were alive? Question mark.
And she nods yes.
And it was Lord Vialis who did that.
Yes. It's also clear that all of the people all the ghosts here were stabbed to death.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tony, might I have as a sorcerer, might I be able to bring some insight to bear on what one might do with the 5 tongues, or is that part of the spell? Do we know since we had our research about that spell, that it would be a component of that?
Give me some kind of Arcana check.
Okay. It's a 19.
It's strange, right? It could be some kind of ritualistic component, and you suspect that this may be the source of the rumor about cult activity, right? It does seem, to have so many people murdered in one place suggests some kind of ritual sacrifice, right? The fact that they were stabbed is, blood is frequently used in various dark rituals. But it is very convenient in that these ghosts without tongues have limited ability to communicate the nature of their death. And we do live in a world where there are raise dead and speak with dead and various spells like that would make it somewhat more possible to find out details about death. Though it is also true that many ghosts do not know the exact details of their death because it is such a kind of traumatizing experience. I think it feels like it could be part of a ritual nature of this cult or magic ritual being used, or it could be a convenient way to silence people that are being used as sacrifices in a ritual.
All right.
will ask Sarah, do you know if you were buried in this city?
She seems uncertain.
Okay.
Well, I think we should search this place and see if there's anything hidden here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wait, do we know if Will Faerl had anything to do with this?
We do not know Will Faerl had anything to do with this.
So should we
You could
ask
ask
her
her.
if she knows Will Faerl?
I mean,
I guess I should ask her.
Yeah, do it.
Ghost Lady. Do you know? Have you seen this Will Faerl guy, Mr. Faerl?
She gives kind of a hesitant yes.
Was he around when you went through all your trauma here?
She shakes her head no.
Okay. That's all I got, you guys.
All right, let's search the place.
Can we find any residual magical things? Says the rogue who doesn't know anything about magic.
Just my knives.
Yeah, I have no detect magic or anything related to that.
I throw a knife at the floor.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, either.
You found a knife. Good job.
I can investigate. That's all I know how to do.
So
I'll try.
I got a 1 of investigation, so I think someone else will have to.
You think you have suddenly found some footprints, and then you realize they're hoof prints, and then you realize they're your hoof prints.
You follow them around the room for
you follow them around the room for quite a while.
I think they're over here.
Popping faster and faster as you converge on the killer.
I have a -1 to intelligence. This is on track.
I got a 14 on investigation.
It seems like this place must have been pretty thoroughly cleaned out. And that, unfortunately 5 years is a long time for any magical residue to remain. The objects, any things, furnishings in this room have long since gone. And the Falgar's family does not seem to be using this space. So other than the presence of the ghosts themselves and learning a little bit more about the nature of their demise, there doesn't seem to be a lot else to find here, unfortunately.
I turn to Sarah and say, would it be helpful for us to search the room that you lived in as well?
She kind of shrugs despondently.
Taking that as a no. I mean, probably the only important thing is the book. That's...
Yeah.
And we know that's not in her room because we have it.
Yeah. I mean, we found out that the other people have been stabbed. And it's all the same ritual thing.
And detongued.
Detongued. Even though people didn't realize you can just ask yes or no questions. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount down here. I mean, I'm gonna have an investigation around the walls, see if I can see any hidden doors or things of that ilk.
Okay.
And I mean, we can always come back.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Arnulf he's now our bud. So
Yeah.
if the
But the family
Lord and
might-
Lady aren't around.
We can bring him a bottle of wine
Yeah.
at night and he'll be fine.
Why don't we bring
Yeah.
him a bottle of wine from down here?
And stash it in Paulie's pants.
Yeah.
And then bring it
I
back.
do got a
home.
lot of pockets.
Everybody loves pants wine.
I don't think Arnold
Warm.
would worry.
It's a good red.
Yeah.
That's why I did have a friend who could have an entire bottle of scotch in one pocket of his jeans and an entire bottle of red wine in the other pocket.
Wow.
He's fun to have at conventions.
That's why you wear Jenkos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled.
But he's already very familiar with all of this wine, so if we brought him one from here, he would just know it.
Yeah.
He would say, excellent choice. I rolled a 16 on my wall poking.
This appears, Nyasa, much to your disappointment, to be a mundane basement without any sweet secret passageways, compartments, or murderous traps to keep people out of the basement.
Boo.
Just your friendly neighborhood basement where several people were murdered.
So we're pretty sure that the murders happened in the basement and not some sub-level below the
No,
basement.
seems like right here.
Sarah said it was this room.
Is there any remnants of the runes that we saw? Nothing.
Nope. It was 5 years ago. So
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's stuck, stained.
no,
Or
I think
under
they
the
had,
rug or something.
They have a really great service that comes in between when they flip the house and
But basically,
that
they have a
murder
crime
cleanup
scene
service.
cleaner that comes in.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Sunshine cleaning.
look, cults are a real problem in D&D. You've got there's a whole
There's a whole
business
separate industry of cleaning up
There's
after
a-
Yep.
messy cults.
Yeah.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Mr. Wolf,
Um,
but he's actually a wolf.
Yeah.
Should we go to the trade ward?
Yeah, I mean,
To go
I
to his
think
Go
business?
find Will Faerl.
yeah,
That's the next
because
step.
I think we could search her room, but there's not going to be much. It seems like this place has been cleaned.
Yeah, if there's nothing in the basement, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we might just be bad at searching, but doesn't seem like there's anything down here.
I mean, we're not wearing our matching Sherlock Holmes hats.
And no one
so
has
that might be the
any
problem.
spells to detect
can we
anything.
find somewhere in this city that sells Sherlock Holmes style hats and get one of them?
Yeah, you stop right over by Baker Street and
Right.
yeah.
Right,
Is
because
there
that,
anywhere we can buy spells that will let us detect anything?
I mean, I feel like the cops would have done that. When there's a ritualistic killing, I think that's probably one of the basic things that a
Yeah.
Waterdeep investigation squad does. So
Unless they were on the take.
Right.
yeah.
Blame the cults to get out of there.
I think we
Yeah.
need to probably work on our cover story. I mean, it worked on a goblin speaking.
I will say, if you wanted to look up various things, you could probably, spell scrolls can be expensive, but they're definitely purchasable in Waterdeep. I think there is the challenge of, trying to find out if magic was used here 5 years ago is not going to really be
Right.
doable.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's go find.
Let's find Will.
Let's
go find Will.
Faerl.
Faerl the elf.
all right. So you head. You get another carriage. You bid adieu to Arnulf, who says, "Enjoy Waterdeep. Stop by anytime. Check if my bosses are here first." And
definitely.
you get a carriage ride across Waterdeep to the trades ward. So you were given some leads in terms of the addresses for a cobbler shop, a leather working shop, and a tannery. They're all kind of clustered in proximity to each other in the trade ward. As you get out of your carriage in the bustling trade ward, there's all kinds of shops with different things being made and sold and goods being hawked here. But you do notice you're probably just down the block from a large leather working enterprise that has the yellow crest symbol kind of worked into the sign outside of the building.
Well.
Found it.
I think we should approach this with a sort of good cop, neutral cop, bad cop approach.
I call bad cop.
There are 5 of you.
The old 2-1-2 defense. Yeah.
Which am I?
We're good.
You know in
cops.
your heart.
You're big cop.
Yeah.
Big cop.
Big cop.
Good cop, big cop.
You're big cop. I'm little cop.
Okay, I need to amend this document.
Okay.
Oh,
So
you're
it's good
horse cop.
It's good cop, bad
Bad
cop,
cop.
horse cop, big cop, little
Little
cop.
cop.
The classic.
I'm bad
Yep.
cop.
Yep. So
Well, I
glad
guess
we
I'm good
figured
cop
it
then.
out.
Lizard cop.
Listen. It's that classic stereotype. Right. Yeah, let's go.
One right out of the old playbook.
Let's go pretend to be law enforcement.
I will point out that, just to let you know, you are in Waterdeep, a
Gribbet's
sprawling metropolis that
detective
actually
agency.
has law enforcement, and it would be known that there's with strict penalties for impersonating law enforcement, and there are uniformed city watch guards patrolling the streets.
Look, if we
Yeah,
say
but they
we're
probably have,
investigating
like,
a crime, that is
Okay.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do we want to go in by stating we're investigating a crime, or do we want to pretend we're looking for some
Shoes.
Business with
We're looking
yeah,
Faerl
we're thinking
are-
of opening up a shoe store in
And we've heard the best things
some
about this
village or
tannery.
something, and we're
back.
All right.
And we want a franchise agreement? Like, what's happening?
just to get in the door and ask some questions.
Well, we can say we're from Candlekeep and we're interested in leather binding.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna
Oh.
propose something here. Yeah. Uh-oh. So having seen our ghost Sarah, I am gonna propose that Nis disguises herself using the disguise self spell as a live Sarah
Ooh.
and inquire about where her former boss might be to Faerl, who may recognize her.
Ah.
As if she didn't die, actually, you see. That's what I'm going for. Or is there a law against impersonating a ghost in
I
Waterdeep?
think you would have to have the original person claim fraud. And since she's dead, I think we're fine.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Right.
she can't just...
Sarah,
And she has
We'll
no
keep the book
tongue. She
closed.
can't claim
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I-
What are the damages here?
we can open the book and we can ask permission. We'll assume that we did that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
like
I'm just
this
thinking
plan.
that might be a way to not only shake somebody who might remember her, but also provide a plausible cover for why do you want to find Faerl, and then why do you want to find out what's going on with our whatever his name was, Vialis.
I think this is a classic murder mystery trope of
Yep,
having
perfect.
the
I like
dead
it.
person being. Yeah. Okay.
Good cop, bad
Yeah.
cop, top, big cop, little cop, fake ghost.
I love that
Everyone's favorite
sitcom.
cop, fake ghost cop.
It's Tuesday nights on CBS.
You boomers. You're welcome.
All
to
right.
drive
Can we
by
bring in the
and
fake
protest
ghost if he
this
doesn't say
scenario.
I
yeah?
like it. Make him
So
nervous.
can you wait?
Yes,
You
not
have
a real
real
ghost,
You have
it's
a
a
real
real
ghost. I don't know if you
lady.
need to bring in a fake
No.
ghost.
It's a fake
a
lady.
real lizard.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the other way to go is we can have it ready to go, and then
Yeah.
Nis can go outside, excuse
Nis,
herself
you
to go
have the-
outside.
You have the disguise
I'll
spell. You can
send,
make yourself look
little
like a
Anthony
reasonable
out
facsimile of Sarah.
Where if you're
Yes.
needed to bring you in as the sign.
That could work, and then you don't have to leave.
I mean,
Okay.
or we could just start with this.
I mean, it's just a spell
we will-
slot for me.
We
is
will
all,
see
but
an
that's
initial
fine.
reaction. Which should
So
tell
I'm
us,
gonna.
if
Tell us more than our group of hey coming
Yeah.
and talking.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Okay.
All right, it's just it's a group of five people, except
Let's do
one
it.
of them is
Let's do
Sarah,
it.
Mhm.
the former servant at the Yellowcrest
All right, Sarah.
manor. Okay,
Are
Nis
you
now looks
garbed-
like Sarah.
Are you garbed as Sarah was with the yellow crest seal on her servant clothes?
Let's say that I picked up some other clothes from out on the street that look like something
Modern
somebody would be
fashion.
wearing today.
Of the
Sure.
5 years later fashion.
Yeah, something of today's
Not like a
fashion.
ghost servant
Yeah,
from
got it.
5
Yeah,
years
but
ago,
somebody
but as if
who's
she
still
was
a
alive
Yeah, get rid of
now.
those skinny
Yeah.
jeans.
Yeah.
They're out.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one
I
wears
don't
skinny
know
jeans
enough
anymore.
fashion
Tony.
to make any
Yeah.
fashion jokes, but they're all
and
here.
Sarah has her
Okay.
hair parted
well, I
in the
didn't
center.
then, so
she
all
also,
good.
she also has legs, which would be helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, basically what I've done is I've done the lasso tool around the bottom of a lady who was walking by, and then pasted Sarah on the top part in order to get and then done a little levels and a little color balance to get from blue to a live color, and that's what Nis looks like now.
Yep.
Brilliant.
So you head into. All right. I've forgotten what we were standing outside the tannery.
The tannery.
You head into the tannery shop. It's this seems like it's a little bit more of a workshop than a storefront. There's lots of vats of kind of weird chemicals where they're treating leather and they're beating it with sticks, and I don't know how leather is made.
It's really gross.
There's a couple
nasty.
cows in the back corner who look real worried.
This is the worst leather shop I've ever heard.
I didn't do the necessary
It's how the sausage is made.
I have a friend who worked did a temporary gig working at a tannery. And he said
my gosh.
who was
I know
a
it's known for
vegetarian at the time.
The bad chemicals they use are pretty caustic.
He said it was really disgusting, and it was the worst smell he's ever smelled.
Disgusting.
So everybody brace yourselves.
Yeah, the shop or the business seems to be run by several dwarves. They might be brothers. They might be related. They all look somewhat similar.
Wait, how many? 7, did you say?
Several.
He said several.
I heard 7 too. So
it's hard to count how many because they're going in and out. But there's between 6 and 8 dwarves here. Is what I'm saying.
with different colored hats, so we can tell.
This is called leaning into your mistakes, people. But one of the dwarves sees you. He approaches. He's got kind of a long beard that he's got tucked into his leather apron that he's got. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and he says, "Hello, can I help you? You're here to do business?"
Who's talking?
I was
talking?
waiting for Nis to talk.
Yeah.
I think Sarah's our
I was
fake
waiting for
Sarah.
Sarah too.
Oh, okay.
Plans. What are plans?
All right. Oh, then
Or
Sarah.
or someone else could ask for. Will
I
Faerl.
I think I'm gonna kind of scan looking around at people to see if anyone's reacting to Sarah.
No one is reacting to Sarah.
Yeah, I'm going to say
acknowledging that there's 5 people who wanted into their business.
I'm a former employee of the Yellowcrest family, and I am looking for Faerl the elf, one of our old business associates. I understand that this is one of Vialis Yellowcrest holdings, and we're looking for Faerl.
Oh, yeah, of course. I've never met Lord Vialis himself. He lives out in the country, to my knowledge. But Faerl comes through about once a week. He's actually expected this afternoon to, give us our pay, collect the profits. He does a whole circuit of Waterdeep once a week, and then heads back out to the country. Yeah, I'm expecting him later this hour.
Perfect timing.
Do you mind if we wait for him?
Sure, pull up a seat. He points to a bench next to a giant vat of something awful smelling. Or wait outside.
Or wait outside.
No skin off my nose.
Does he have an office or something we can wait in?
There's kind of he looks kind of at the shack next to the sad cows. It says, "You don't want to be in there." So the implication is that Vialis does not work out of here, but comes through occasionally to,
and then goes back to the country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We also need a bar called the Sad Cow Shack. maybe it's
That's
a hamburger
burger
restaurant.
joint.
Yeah.
People really like to be reminded of the traumas that the animals go through.
How many barbecue joints have I seen with a happy pig on this sign?
Right.
It's
Well, it's a happy
ridiculous.
pig. It's not a sad pig.
Yeah, but the slogan for the burger place is "You can taste the sadness."
Oh, wow.
So,
Tata wants to wait outside.
do you want to wait an hour until William Faerl theoretically appears?
How long
Yes.
does this spell last?
Oh, I did not even think of that. I was unintentional in my.
Well, I mean, the guy said within
Yeah.
the hour.
Yeah.
So if the guy could show up in 5 minutes. We don't want to go someplace
Yeah.
else.
Is there like a
And
coffee shop across
possibly
the
miss him.
street?
From a tannery? I hope not.
That doesn't sound like it would get.
Yeah,
very
this is a
good.
very working class place. There's not a lot of food or restaurants,
So
unfortunately.
I'm going to
but-
recommend, and I do have an hour. I'm going to recommend that that Nis stand out at the entrance, and that you guys maybe just be nearby. Not so suggestive that we're a group of 5.
Yeah.
I can go like across the street and down a ways. I'm like 8 feet tall, so I can keep an eye out.
Yeah,
I can hide.
And then
in
she
the
can
shadows.
she can see his reaction and confront him and ask him what's going on, and we can take it from there. And maybe this means nothing, and he'll just respond. But we could go with the fakery that it's actually.
He might
Sarah.
be a snooty elf who never noticed the servants anyway.
It's
in
also
the first
possible.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case, we'll just be where we are, and I can give you guys the high sign to come in, and we just talk to this guy.
And then he might be able to tell us where Vialis is living now.
I have a deck of cards.
Perfect.
Does anyone have some rope they can use in this situation?
I've got
We
a
all
lot of
have
rope. I'm just going to hide in the shadows next to where
It's exactly high noon. There are no shadows, but 20 minutes later there are.
Handy.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just going to stand like kind of on a corner or something.
All right. So some of you are waiting
Tony,
right
keep an
outside
eye
the
out.
business.
Tony, there are awnings.
Yeah.
They cast shadows at high noon.
Directly across from the tannery is an awning manufacturer.
Yeah, fine leather awnings.
Yeah.
Gosh.
There's something very aggressively New Jersey about that I don't like. Okay, so some of you are going to wait right outside the business. Some of you are going to kind of spread out down the street to make it not look like there's 5 adventurers just loitering outside this tannery. And you wait more than half an hour, and then something kind of catches your attention. There's a large private coach kind of just barely squeezing down the bustling street. It's pulled by several brilliant white horses. The coach is a little ostentatious, lots of kind of gold filigrees on it. There's 2 kind of tough looking guards sitting in front driving the horses. The coach pulls to a stop in front of the tannery, and several other they look kind of like bodyguards or muscle pile out of the coach, as well as an elf in a helluva hat. This must be Faerl, or if it's not, it is the fanciest elf you've ever seen. He is clad in gold and red, and he has a giant red hat. He has a fancy necklace. He's wearing lots of rings. He looks busy and important and is making his way directly into the tannery. I imagine some of you might be thinking threat assessment. It looks like Faerl is traveling with a group of 7 bodyguards, which seems like a lot for a guy who's just collecting money from his tannery in the middle of the day. Just gonna say that. A very large entourage for Waterdeep / life in general, for, And I mean, it wouldn't be unusual for somebody to be traveling with a couple guards if they were doing, collecting a bunch of money or transporting wealth. But this seems like a particularly large entourage. So
I hope we get to follow this scene with like hailing another coach and being like, follow that coach, and we can have a chase scene through Waterdeep.
Well, Faerl is getting down. I imagine there's like a couple steps that fold out from his fancy coach, and he's making a beeline for the tannery. I don't know if you wish to intercept him before that. He is flanked by his guards.
I do. I want to make eye contact with him, see if he recognizes me, and say, Mr. Faerl.
He maybe glances at you and doesn't seem to notice you. You call out Mr. Faerl, and he kind of stops abruptly and turns. His giant hat seems to turn before he does as he looks over at you and says, "Yes."
Don't you remember me? I'm Sarah. I'm one of the servants that was in the employ of Lord Vialis, or Sir Vialis, or whatever.
Of course. That was so long ago.
About
sorry,
5 years.
Of course, for all the
5
tragedy.
years ago.
Vialis kind of reaches into a pocket, pulls out a change purse, and hands you just a little kind of like a fistful of coppers. Says, "Terrible tragedy. Best of luck," and then turns to go into the tannery.
And as he's going, I say, "Where might I find Vialis now?"
I'm afraid he's not in need of any services. I'm sure your work was a testament to the Yellowcrest name. Best of luck with future endeavors.
But I know about the ritual.
He turns like on a foot and says, perhaps you should keep some things to yourself, and hands you several gold pieces.
Ooh.
I want to murder him.
Nis/Sarah, it's like 5 gold pieces. It's not, this is not a fortune, but, would be a lot of money to a servant. Well, or maybe not a lot, but a significant amount of money to a servant.
You don't understand. I need to talk to Lord Vialis. Unless, and a few gold pieces is not going to silence me. Maybe your hat. But otherwise, no.
He snaps his fingers. Some of the guards that were on top of the coach kind of get down and are suddenly kind of all around you, Nis, and he says, I think perhaps you should come with me.
Uh-oh.
And the guards go to basically kind of load you into the carriage. Nis.
Interesting.
Huh.
Should we just
I think we
let her
should
go?
follow this carriage.
Following a coach is going to be tough for everybody except maybe Hermione.
Yeah.
And
Well,
me.
somebody could
I
sit
could
on
change into a
Hermione.
large animal and carry everyone.
How large an animal?
I don't know. Pretty large. An elephant. That carries people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't draw any attention in the middle
No,
of Waterdeep.
no attention
Why-
at all.
Waterdeep is the city of splendors. There's an elephant down the street right now.
Cool, grab that elephant.
Being
As long as
interrogated.
it's less than 3 hours away, I'm good.
Yeah, being interrogated by the very aggressive and watchful city guard that is always on the lookout for people impersonating them.
But not people getting like hijacked into carriages.
So
What's-
yeah,
Tony, what's the situation here in terms of where am I and where are
you're
his
on the
guys?
street. There are 2 guards that are basically have grabbed each, they think you're Sarah, each by an arm, and are going to kind of like, walk you up into the carriage. It looks like Faerl has forgotten about his, the business that brought him in here today, and seems intent on taking you somewhere.
Feel
I say we
sorry
let
for the
this
people that
happen.
won't get their checks.
I will say, let's. I think we need to let Nis decide what will happen, and then the rest of you will be able to react to this. You don't really have the time or option to have a meeting about this. I don't know if this is what you expected,
But
but I
like
feel
we're
like this is-
hiding somewhere
Yeah.
watching this all happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we
I
can
guess you were-
decide whether to
You were
like
deciding whether to
stop.
intervene.
We're-
or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're ready to ride an elephant at a
All right.
moment's notice.
I
Always.
am
the poly elephant.
I'm going to allow them to take me. However, when the first one touches me, I'm going to take the opportunity in that moment to do my touch-based attack, Shocking Grasp. So they're going to get a little static electricity when they try to touch me.
All right. So I think a fight is about to break out in the because they're not going to load somebody that just electrocuted them into the wagon, right?
I mean, they're the ones touching me.
All right, one of the we'll call them thugs. One of the thugs grabs you by the arm and shrieks in pain as electricity from your shocking grasp courses through him. Faerl kind of yelps, and suddenly all of the guards are around. It seems like a fight is about to happen. Is this where our adventurers die, in the street outside of a tannery? Will they be turned into fine leather goods themselves, or will they live to find out where Lord Vialis Yellowcrest has gone into hiding? What about Faerl? Maybe he's just a great guy with a hat and who's a little misunderstood. For answers to questions such as these, tune in next time to Total Party Kill.
Incomparable Podcast Network. Become a member and support this show today. theincomparable.com/members